we have Adam Bitcoin in the house. I am so very excited. I've been interacting with Adam Bitcoin now for a few weeks. Super fun guy, super cool, and he shares our ethos too. And we're going to get into all of that stuff, but you guys know the drill. We're going to get our introduction going. We're going to transition to Kenton, and then this party's going to get started. So let's go. Okay, you guys, as you may have heard or you haven't heard, THORChain is the world's leading Bitcoin DEX. You can swap Bitcoin with 10 different blockchains across 40 different pools without using bridges or wrap tokens. Super important, you guys. Check it out at swap.thorchain.org, swap.thorchain.org. Anyone in the world can use THORChain. There is no account open, no KYC is required. We love it. That's how it's always going to be. THORChain has 2 tokens, you guys, Rune and TCY. The fees for swapping on THORChain are paid in Rune, and that's where the yield comes from. The fees are deducted from the swaps, so you don't need to own Rune to trade on THORChain. 10% of the protocol's revenue goes to TCY token holders. Remember to stake your TCY tokens in order to collect this yield. There are no inflationary block rewards on THORChain. Therefore, the yield is real money paid by real users. Rune is also deflationary as 5% of the revenue is burned. THORChain is a full layer 1 with the ability to create smart contracts on it, similar to Ethereum. This app layer is being developed by Rujira. If you need help with THORChain in general, join the THORChain community Discord and Telegram group. Links for those are on thorchain.org. Please, guys, please follow THORChain on Facebook and Instagram, THORChain content on TikTok. We need 1,000 followers to live stream on those platforms. And always remember, guys, this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and does not constitute financial investment or legal advice. And with that out of the way, you guys, I'll give you a quick introduction to myself. My name's Denny. I go by Patriot Sounds. I also help with runebond.com. Been doing this for half a decade now. I love it. I can't get enough of it. I'm addicted. We're going to keep doing it. Kenton, I'm going to kick it to you. What's going on, Kenton?
Yeah, again, I'm just trying to stay warm. Like, yeah,
I can tell.
Traveling right now. I'm in my friend's garage. And yeah, so sorry I missed Thursday, you guys. But just a quick update. Our Masari dashboard for THORChain will go live on Monday. And so we'll have all like a bunch of metrics. It's similar to the Dune dashboard. And but on Masari. And so if people are looking up THORChain on Masari and they click on it, whatever, they come see our dashboard with all our metrics and everything, like our volume, revenue, users, all that kind of stuff. And we will have a live link that people can share and use and whatnot. But the main thing is we'll have the THORChain, our data inside Masari now, where analysts are looking up different metrics. THORChain will start popping up. So we got a few seats on Masari. Gave a seat to Ray Analytics. So if he wants to start pulling some numbers off there, maybe we'll have some new charts to share with us. So that'll be cool. Looking forward to that next week. And yeah, looking forward to chatting with Adam and getting to know you, man. So maybe I'll kick it to you here if you want to give a little intro about yourself.
All right, now you put me on the spot right there. What am I supposed to say?
How does a guy like you even introduce himself?
All right. Well, I'll just say, basically, a little bit about me, I guess, is that I got into crypto around like 2014, end of 2014. I was told about it earlier than that, a couple of years before that, but I just didn't really know or understand it. At that time I was looking into investing and, obviously I'm about freedom and stuff like that. So it just kind of naturally all clicked and made sense. And yeah, I just really, I guess we'll see how this conversation goes, but, I think that we could also talk about how things have changed a lot since then, how it used to be, and based on marketing and narratives and stuff. And that's why I really like THORChain or, THORSwap, all this stuff, because they are like with the decentralized ethos and trying to teach people the right way, where a lot of people don't really understand anymore because maybe they're confused about things and don't really understand crypto in general, I guess, so or Bitcoin, whatever you want to say. But yeah, I guess what else? I don't know. That's about it. You look cold. Where you at?
I'm actually in San Diego, or just east of San Diego, so it should be warm. It'll get warmer.
Really?
It'll be
It's cold.
fine.
It's cold over there.
Well, it's just early in the morning. It's cold at night, and once now the sun's
All
coming
right,
out,
all right.
it'll warm up.
I
So you
remember.
mentioned
I
you're in
remember. I
the
go.
Sorry.
Go. What's that? No. I was gonna say I remember going to California from New York, and my cousin, it was like 60 degrees, and he's wearing like dressed like you, wearing gloves and shit. I'm like, bro, try coming to New York. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
Us-
Yeah,
My friends here, they
but I
keep
get it
teasing me.
now,
'Cause
though.
I'm actually Canadian, so my friends here are teasing me like, "Oh, you're supposed to stay warm. You're warm. You're from Canada." I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Canadians are good about complaining about
Yeah,
the
no.
cold. Yeah. So no.
Yeah, I hate the cold.
But you mentioned you're into freedom and stuff. Like, do you consider yourself like a libertarian or an ANCAP, or like what is like? Yeah, how are you into
Bro,
freedom?
honestly, I don't really like. I'm just me, I don't really focus on that like political type shit or whatever, like, like libertarian, this, that, like I just, I just, I don't know. I just see the things in the world and see like the crazy things that these people do to people, and because people things have been done to me, and I just don't like just yesterday. I'll talk about it real quick. Like I don't really want to be too crazy about whatever. It's like so this place where I'm at right now. It used to be like total freedom, everybody happy, everybody, but now you see the same exact things that are happening in the United States. Like the guy just standing there minding his business, not doing anything, and then they go search him and arrest him for fucking nothing. It's like I don't know. I just that like that type of stuff I just really don't like, because I know that like yeah, okay, some guy that's a thief or some guy that's doing some dumb shit or whatever, like yeah, of course maybe he should like be in trouble, but like I just don't like how like anyone that undermines this type of system or something, they try to paint you as a bad guy while they're doing the same thing or worse, so that's just really what I mean, like I don't know, I just yeah.
Yeah.
But you said you're in Bitcoin 2014. How things are different then versus now. Can you maybe like drill into that a bit? What did you?
Because I think that everybody came into Bitcoin or like crypto thinking that, oh, this is going to be the new money. We're going to, change the world with this and that. And now it's just turned into a giant, like pump and dump, let's say, like like, obviously I understand that there's cycles and, like if there's more buyers and sellers and things can change, but it's like, anybody who's been in crypto knows that what back in the day before big money got involved, all the people bought the same coin and we all made money. And of course, yeah, if you're late, then you could lose money. Everybody always lose money because it's crypto. It happens. But for the majority, you didn't have to do anything. You bought the coin, you waited 2 years, and then all of a sudden your $1,000 turned into fucking $50,000. And you're like, oh, cool, good investment, And now it's just all scams and pump and dumps. And, it's like, unless you are part of a team or like on the inside of this whole thing, or the news beforehand, the chances of making money are very slim, almost none, so it's like people don't even understand how it used to be and how it changed. But I know that the reason why it changed is due to the marketing. It's due to these biggest accounts, these biggest people that are trying to change the narrative. And it's like you go to some of these accounts. I should say it, but whatever. I don't really, it's like you go to some of these accounts and you see them like, oh, the price is pumping, it's time to long, like saying all these things because they're just lying to you so they could dump on your fucking head tomorrow, and they're trying to get all these unsuspecting people in so they can steal your money basically, so it's like it's it's like fucked up, but it's like that is what the market is now. So it's like, you know, you have to realize that and adapt. And as much as you don't like it because you want everybody to fucking make money, the fact of the matter is that, like, now it's just a totally different market. And, you know, unless you're like starting your own projects, or you have your own team or something like that, then it's very hard to make money, you know. So it's just, I like, back in the day you didn't have to do anything, all you had to do was just buy, and then now you can't really do that anymore.
You know what this reminds me of, Kenton? This reminds me of something you said earlier in a previous live stream. You said the conversations back when you first got into, Bitcoin, crypto, blah, 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 were so interesting, right? Like, we're here to change the world. We're here to free the world. We're here to address this fiat money problem. But now today, when you juxtapose those conversations, today's conversations, it's like ETFs, it's derivatives, it's the very thing that we were trying to push away from, right? And so everyone's like, where did that fire go? Where did that passion go? Where did this ethos of really moving the needle and changing the world and freeing the world instead of just number go up, like Adam is saying? And yeah, I resonate with that well. And it's like, where did all these people go? Well, they're in various teams. They're on THORChain. They're on Maya Protocol. Adam still retains that ability, right? And I really like what you said, Adam, in the beginning about educating and correcting things, because there's a lot of things said. Because in the beginning, and this is not your fault at all. This is something that Kenton and I have been trying to fix. Is like, what is THORChain? What are the real protocols? Like you mentioned, THORSwap. THORSwap is a third party of THORChain. They do have support THORChain, but they also do other centralized extensions as well. And now the official interface is swap.thorchain.org, right? And there's there's so much to learn with the space. That's why the friction is so high, and that's why I'm so glad you're here, Adam. So not only we can learn more about you, but you can hopefully learn a little bit more about us as well. So yeah, Adam, one thing I heard you say in a previous space is, you got into Bitcoin for the reasons that you've said, but then you also talked about XMR, right? And because you believe in privacy and things like that. So where do you stand? Do you think of XMR as the real Bitcoin now, or are you still like into Bitcoin, but you have a head nod towards XMR? Maybe you could break that down a little bit for the audience.
Well, I mean, I just like XMR. I think that it's really good. The thing is that, like, I've realized over time, and like even like within the last like 2, 3, 4 months, whatever it is, like, is that Bitcoin, was supposed to be like digital cash, the coin for the people. And, I saw the whole thing happen where people were trying to, change the block size and then this and that. And like I said, everything, all of this stuff comes down to who has the stronger marketing. And obviously the bad guys won. So, like I myself was psyoped in this whole thing. You sit there looking at them, like, blocking everybody else out, saying, "Oh, this is a shit coin. Oh, this is a fucking scam. Oh, this is that. Oh, this is something." But in actuality, these were the guys that were trying to do good, but they just didn't have the strong enough marketing because they didn't really own the they didn't own the channels. They didn't own these things, so they got just, like, blocked out by all the other people. And so back to that, you know, I don't really, I don't know, like, the technicals enough, let's say, because, I know that, I don't really, I don't know, just crypto in general, I think has a lot of flaws at the moment still. And it's just kind of like more of, or, it's, instead of changing into the, freedom money that it was supposed to be, now it's changing into a casino and a death trap. USDT, USDC, they could steal all of your money, and they do it all the time. The CEXs, they could steal all your money, and they do it all the time. So all of these things that are so bad for crypto, but they have the loudest voices. And people just don't do your own research, and they just believe whatever the fuck they see their favorite influencer says. And so, like, I mean, yeah, I kind of been going over the place. It kind of, I guess, all makes sense, but like Monero, look at it. It's been going up because a lot of centralized exchanges are it's getting taken off of centralized exchanges, so it's been doing pretty well compared to a lot of things. It does have privacy. It's like, so I'm like, okay. I mean, I think it's still slow. It's not really the best thing either, but it's like, I don't know. I just think about this. I'm like, at this point, I was a Bitcoin maxi for a very long time, and it made me miss out on a lot because if this is just about money and not even about freedom, I mean, obviously it is about freedom too, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, so why would I just sit here and fucking hold Bitcoin my whole life when I could get a meme coin that goes 1,000x in one day? Like, it doesn't fucking make sense. So, and I'm like, also, like, something that I said, I was like, I'm joking about it, obviously, but I'm serious. I'm like, why would I fucking send you Bitcoin and wait 15 minutes when I could send you fart coin and it takes 15 seconds? Like, fart coin's fucking better. Like, like it doesn't even make sense. Like, oh, it's more decentralized. Fucking, who gives a fuck? It still works. It's not, nobody's stopping it. So it's like, I used to, I don't know, I've just the past couple months, I've been really changing my mindset a lot. And it's like, obviously I'm joking about a lot of things I say, but like, I'm still serious at the same time, it's like,
You mentioned XMR Monero going up because it's being delisted by central exchanges. Do you think that the reason price is going up is because the sexes don't actually have the Monero, and so when their customers are withdrawing it, they have to basically go buy it to then deliver it, and that buy pressure is driving up the price? Were you alluding to that? Do you believe that?
well, that's what I keep telling people. The same exact thing that you just said. I said, listen, it makes sense. If your money is not, all these people, all these Bitcoin holders, they think they're like, Bitcoin holders and doing, like, bro, you're buying an ETF, you're putting your money on a CEX. Basically, that means you have no fucking money. So imagine that nobody put their money on ETFs. Nobody put their money on CEX. It was all in their wallets. And then people started withdrawing from the CEX. The CEX has to buy the Bitcoin to pay them back. So the price goes up. It's very fucking simple. It's not hard to understand. But for some reason, people think that the ETF is bullish. They're fucking retarded. Sorry for my language. I don't know if I can say that stuff. But
You can say retarded, it's okay. Don't worry about it, because there's a lot of things in our space
right.
retarded. But we're trying to de-retardify it, if that makes sense. And that's not a word, but
yeah,
now it is, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we do. We
right.
add words.
We're gonna rename the podcast
Bro,
de-retardify.
De-retardify.
No, I used to go to this guy's spaces. I'm not even, this guy gets me like madder than anyone. I mean, I'm not mad. I don't really care. But like, it's like fucking this guy is shilling CEX referral links to a CEX that already stole everybody's money with the loan program. Like, so they already stole everybody's money, and you're still fucking promoting them. Like, what? Like, it's like, when will you learn? It's crazy.
Adam, this is why I reached out to you, right? I paid attention to your spaces, okay? And I'm like, well, this guy shares our ethos, right? And so you don't identify as a libertarian, and like, that's what it is. When you have label yourself, like, the definition changes, right? Like, what is this? What is that? And it's always a constantly morphing thing. You are yourself, right? And to give it home to the audience, Adam, I firmly believe you believe in no KYC, you believe in permissionless, you believe in decentralization. Those are the three pillars, right? That's what everything has to be. And permissionless, I think, is the most important thing, right? We have to make our infrastructure neutral, to remove the state from that. So that's why we love talking to you rather than some other, figures. And honestly, you should be much more famous because of this, because the things you said, right? I see people doing, I'm like, God, what are we doing? Like, what happened? What happened? Why are you shilling a centralized exchange? Do you know what I mean? The centralized exchange is the coping mechanism that we invented because, the peer-to-peer element of Bitcoin just wasn't ready yet. But we fixed that. So what are you doing? So that resonated with me so much more. And by the way, I want to just quick pivot. You have a website, Adam. I want to make sure this is said. LearnBitcoinFast.com. Would you like to tell us about that real quick?
Yeah, sure. You know what? So, and that's it actually goes back to the centralization problem as well there. It's like, okay, so I wrote a book, Learn Bitcoin Fast, which teaches people how to get into Bitcoin in a decentralized fashion, P2P, all stuff like that, understanding everything. And, so I wrote it. I basically, I wrote like the outline and was just working on it for a little bit. And then when I found ChatGPT, like maybe like 6 months ago, a year ago, whatever it was, maybe I'm a little late, I don't know. I was like, oh, let me finish the book. So, I wrote the whole thing, I put it through ChatGPT, I fixed it, what was missing, I did it again, rewrote it, did it a million times, whatever. But finally I came out with the book. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it for free. I'm going to give it out for free, but I want to put Google ads behind it so at least I could get something for it. And I tried to do the Google ads and it just keeps denying me. And there's no support. You can't talk to anybody. So, finally I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't even care anymore. I'm just going to just put it out and just give it for free. So, so I just, I put it up like about a week ago. I didn't even announce it yet. I didn't even say anything. So there's a good little announcement for people to know about it. But yeah, I put it out, and then that's that's the thing. And you know what? The other thing like that you were just talking about, like yeah, I think that maybe P2P infrastructure wasn't really ready. But I mean, I guess it kind of was. I just think that they got rid of it because they want to control what the inflows and outflows of it. That's why local Bitcoins is gone now. So like I'm sure that they were getting threatened with jail, lawsuits, whatever, all this shit, and they forced them to go out of business. So, yeah, it's I don't know, whatever.
Well, I'm going to kick it to Kent in a second, but I think the solution, because we were talking about this in previous live stream for our own front end, decentralizing the domain in a way that it can't be taken down, right? And I think hopefully that will maybe something will come to Bitcoin where you can have this peer-to-peer infrastructure online that is essentially decentralized, so there is no central party to attack. So I'm hoping for that day so Bitcoin can get back to its roots. But Kenton, I'll kick it to you if you've got anything.
But you know what?
Oh, go ahead.
The problem is this, though. Sorry. The problem is this, too. It's not necessarily, it's that people are scared. Like I say, oh, the first time I got my Bitcoin, I went to some guy in Brooklyn and just, and they're like, oh, but yo, like, like it's some crazy thing. Like they didn't just go to Western Union yesterday and wait on a line to get money. It's the same fucking thing. Like there's places in, I mean, it's just less established, but there's places in different places in the world where you can go to Western Union and just buy and sell USDT or something like that. I mean, not necessarily Western Union, maybe like a money exchange or something like that, but it exists. But people don't even know that these things exist, and they just think it's scary in general. Like, oh, somebody's gonna rob me or something like that. Like, yeah, okay, like maybe your wallet's more transparent and this and that, but it's like you don't go to work and then go home saying, oh, some good guy's gonna rob me because I just made money. Like it's like it happens, and I'm sure it happens more in real life than it happens in crypto. So it's like I think it has to do a lot with fear. People don't understand.
Yeah, well said. Kenton, you got something?
Not really, but I can kind of add to that. Just like it's kind of like you mentioned Western Union people standing in line to pay like 15% of their transfer, and I'm like, it kind of boggles me like why these people haven't figured out stable coins yet. I agree with you obviously about Tether and Circle, they can freeze your funds, but I still use them, right? At least for like making payments, whatever. I'm really surprised that the average people that use the Western Union, they haven't figured them out. And I'm curious if you have any thoughts on that. Like why does it take like the people that crypto is meant for, like the unbanked, right? That was for me. That's what gets me excited. Right? 6 billion people in the world that are excluded from our system, and they got to pay these exorbitant fees, or they just can't access it. Period. This was the promise of Bitcoin and crypto, is that we have this egalitarian, equal system that we can all use and all be treated fairly. I'm curious if you have any thoughts, like what's taking so long for the unbanked, for these people to start adopting the crypto? Like, do you have any ideas on that? Yeah, or maybe maybe see it differently. Maybe you think they are adopting it, and I'm missing out. I don't see how it's being done.
No, I think that honestly, I think that, two things. First off, like the United States, they just don't really. I mean, it's starting to get worse there, but they don't know the solution to make things better, and they think, oh, I have the dollar, it's the best currency in the world. They don't really even know, they don't really even understand. And then on the other side, the people that actually might need it, like maybe people in Africa, they're starting to use it a little bit, but like I live in Colombia and they don't use it. Maybe like people use it for some money transfers or something like that, but it's like their banking system here in Colombia isn't really too bad, and these people don't really need the money. I mean, obviously everybody needs the money, but they're like the poorer people are okay with being poor. If they have food and they have a place to live, they don't really care. So it's not really something they're even that worried about. So it's like, I would say the same thing for Africa, whatever. Like it's like, if you're like, I lived in like the barrio in like a poor neighborhood, and if they don't have money, they just call their aunt or their grandma around the block. Hey, can you bring me a plate of food for dinner? Yeah, no problem. And they just bring it to them. So it's not like that's not really what they care about that much, because they're not really controlled in most places. So it's not like, like what some of us have seen, some of us think about, and the places that are controlled, it's like the Matrix, where my mom, who's the teacher that goes back and forth to work every day, she thinks life's good. She has no clue about anything else. She doesn't even believe it. So it's like, I don't know, I just think that people, they either don't need it or they don't even realize it, and they're just so accustomed still to the old things that that's why it's taking so long to catch on.
I think perhaps it's going to take a point in history that may come soon of necessity, right? Where um, there is a depegging, like full crazy depegging of purchasing power and fiat currencies around the world. I mean, something's coming, right? And you can, I don't know how far you can, twist this rope until it snaps, right? I mean, $40 trillion in debt for the U.S.
Yeah.
I know other countries are in similar predicaments. I think the key is we got to be ready for these people. Most of them are going to be wildly unprepared. But we do our best, right? So I think if we can, go ahead, Kenton.
No, sorry, I thought you were done. I was going to just jump in, but you mentioned about a necessity when people realize they need it type deal. Like, I do remember when the trucker protests in Ottawa, that did wake some people up. They're like, whoa, Canadian government's freezing bank accounts. And then that fear that like, whoa, what's going on here? And people started then waking up. I know some people started waking up like, well, maybe this Bitcoin thing, there's something to it. And but I think you're right. It's and I'm guilty of it too. I'm sure you guys are. Like, we only really kind of change our ways, and only when we absolutely have to. And sometimes it's a bit too late. And so you're probably right. It's probably going to be, when they actually really need it, like their local currency is collapsing or whatever, or maybe they have to make some kind of international payment that they just can't. And I'm like, okay, I got to figure out how to use stupid stable coins or stupid Bitcoin. I know one guy, he got into Bitcoin because his laptop was hacked or something like this. And remember back in the day, hackers were demanding payment in Bitcoin. And so he had to go get Bitcoin to like unfreeze his laptop or something like this. And he, I don't know, paid him $5,000 and it worked. And he gave the $5,000 and the hacker unlocked his laptop or something like this, and it was fine. But that got him into crypto, understanding it all. So I think you guys are probably, unfortunately, you guys are probably right that it's going to take a bit more pain or suffering to kind of force people to get into it. So I hope people don't have to wait though, like wait till it's too late. They can be a bit more proactive like us.
Yeah, they will. I mean, they will. I mean, it's the S curve adoption of the smartphone, right? It's different because this is a tool. It's useful. You pick it up, you can interact with it. It immediately adds value to your life, and people use it in front of you. With something abstract, digital like crypto, it's just something that's not tangible for people to interact with. But I think it's coming. People being able. I think especially like projects like Mocha and other, and maybe like Bior Labs as well, right? Where people will be saying, hey, I paid with crypto. I think once it starts getting more mainstream, that's when it'll be adopted. But I just think because it's something that's not physical, as simple as that sounds, I think that is going to lead to a much slower adoption, right? And I think unfortunately, a lot of people just don't understand abstract things like this. Not to sound like I'm super smart or something, but you know what I mean. This is a different primitive, but yeah, Kenton, yeah, Adam, I think they are going to wait until until they absolutely have to, unfortunately. But,
Yeah, exactly.
So Adam, you mentioned earlier, like you don't like the Bitcoin ETF and I assume maybe the futures market, all these like the Bitcoin treasury companies, stuff like that. Do you view those as like delaying the adoption of Bitcoin, right? Because these paper products are soaking up the demand instead of people buying physical Bitcoin. So do you see these paper
For sure.
proxy as like delaying everything?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's just it's basically misinformation, and I think that like it's kind of, I think, listen, if you look back in history, the governments have made it illegal to hold gold and stuff like this. And I've been saying for the very long time that, they're going to take away the withdrawal button from Coinbase. And they're going to say, oh, if you want to trade Bitcoin legally in the US, you need a series, whatever, series 7, series 8, whatever the new one is that they're going to make. And they're going to make it illegal to hold Bitcoin or use Bitcoin for real. Oh, you have to do it in your 401k or something like that, So, it's I just think that it's a lot of like misinformation, and who knows how many Bitcoin or fake Bitcoin they're even selling now these days as well. We don't know with all the CEXs, all of the, there has to be, it has, like, there's no way that there's only, I mean, obviously I know there's only 21 million Bitcoin, but there's no way that they're only selling 21 million Bitcoin, because the price would be through the roof by now. I don't, I don't believe it. Like, there's no way.
yeah, derivatives, right? That's what they're using, right, to manipulate the market as they've always done. It's like Kenton said, if you have you sell gold in a bank, but you start selling paper gold on slips, right? It's real easy to make more paper gold than there is gold in the vaults. And when you go to redeem, well, SOL. That's simple as that. I mean, we keep making this mistake again and again.
Exactly.
And that's why it's so perplexing to me that more people are not calling out these derivatives, these ETFs. It's the system that we're trying to get away from. It boggles my mind, man. Boggles my mind.
Yeah, no, it's because these people are just, they go ahead. What's that?
No, you go ahead, Adam.
Oh no, I just think they're either like, one, there's big accounts that are plants that are spreading this misinformation, and then two, there's just super uneducated people that are buying it and spreading this information, and three is they're fiat maxis. They don't care about crypto. So if they can shill their centralized exchange and get people in with their referral links so they can make some fucking free cash, that's all they care about. So, that's the problem, and then it's like, and then the other problem, which, I mean, now this is what I'm saying, is like, it's the fact of the matter and the fact of the market. At least it's decentralized, let's say. But, like, is the new way for people to make money in crypto is pump and dumps with meme coins. So only if you know the people and you're in on that team doing it, you can make money. But there is no other way to make money in crypto anymore unless you're in the memes and in the know, or you like create some sort of platform or something like that, like you have a swap or whatever, something, and you can make money through it. But like the old days of just buying a coin and everybody holding together is not there anymore, because now everybody changed the ethos from hold to sold, and everyone should just sell and get cash. So it's like, everything is just completely changed now, that it used to be just from basic misinformation and just, the turn of events of everything that happened.
Kenton, did you have something you wanted to say? I'll make sure before.
No, I was just kind of add to something earlier about, well, I was kind of lost my train of thought. But one of you guys mentioned something about centralized exchanges and not having custody, like not real Bitcoin, I think. I can't remember exactly what I'm saying. But all right, but this for us, like the THORChain community, like this is what we get worked up about is like, how are more Bitcoiners should love THORChain, or the real crypto people in general should love THORChain because everything is self-custody, right? There's no double counting, no paper or anything. It's all real Bitcoin in your wallet. And our community is like, how do more people not like recognize this, or how do more people not want to use this, right? And it's confusing because this is the whole point of crypto. This is what this was the promise 10 years ago type thing. And so I mean, obviously we want people to know about THORChain and people to use it, and we want the room price to go up, right? We all want those things, but it's like the reason we think all those things are going to happen is because this is like the real deal, and it's shocking that more people aren't paying attention or don't recognize, and I just it's kind of sad, it's kind of frustrating, that everyone's just happy with their CEXs, they're happy with their paper Bitcoin. And it's like, what else do we got to do to kind of wake people up?
Adam, do you remember that space we had on X? And he was like an East Coast, or maybe he was New York as well. It was in the Bronx. I can't remember, but we were both talking to him, and he was, I think it was, what was it? It was crypto.com, right? And he was so infatuated with crypto.com. He says, hey, I've got my assets at crypto.com. I'm investing in, what is it, Crone or whatever their asset is. I don't even know. And we're explaining to him, it's like, hey man, you don't own those assets. Like that's not real. It's a data point on a ledger, and you can't guarantee the solvency of that ledger. What happened with FTX? What happened with, Mt. Gox, blah, 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 right? And he just kept reverting. We would both break his points down in the most granular, easy to understand level. But he kept saying, but crypto.com's good. Crypto.com's not good. And I was like, oh my God, this person is truly unreachable. I was like, I honestly was wondering if they're even technically alive, bro, because it was like, come on, dude. Like, how can this logic be any more obvious? Are you even alive? Like, I don't understand. Like, it was crazy. And I guess those people we won't reach until they get rugged. But man, I gotta think that there's more people out there who are just led astray by the people that you mentioned earlier, Adam.
Yeah, no, well that's the thing, exactly. But the thing is that they're not, like you I think that we also give people too much credit, like because they I mean, because myself included, I fucking bought 1 million memes, got rugged 1 million times before I realized that it was a fucking scam, So it's like, so these people, they lost all their money with Celsius or with these loan programs, and now they're saying, oh, well, the ETF is bullish, So like, they're never gonna learn. They don't even understand what they did wrong in the first place, like I Coinbase stole my money, and I realized right away I'll never use a fucking centralized exchange. Like they could steal your money. But if your money, that's why I'm very leery about using like USDT, USDC too. I just started thinking about it. I started swapping into DAI, because they can't take your money with DAI, because bro, you don't know when, like, what reason that these people are going to take your money, like they'll just say anything. Oh, you used illegal casino. Oh, oh, let's steal their money because they're in Iran. Oh, so it's like that saying that, people don't care. They're like, oh, I'm in America, I'm safe, or something like that. But no, what did they do to the Canadian truckers? They started stealing all their money too. People think that they're safe because, oh, I don't break the law or something like that. But wait until that law is made, and then they're going to steal your money too, and they just don't understand it, and they're not going to understand it until they get rugged, and then they're still not going to understand it because they're going to look for the next thing that's better because they don't understand it. So I don't know.
So I've only done one meme coin in my life. I've done it once, and that was it. And it was on Solana. It was called Giga Tits, as in big tits. Okay. and I bought $500 of it, and I sold it right away, and I made $300. And I was like, that was
Nice.
retarded. I'm never doing that again. I got super lucky, but I just had to say that because it jumped like soon after that too. Like I don't. It was yeah.
You just outed yourself. Now we know you're a boobs man.
That's hey what hey well that is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's that and
That's okay.
by the way,
That's okay.
that's between me and Jesus, Kenton. Don't you talk about that. But I want to know, Adam. Could you maybe you can reveal whatever you want, but you sounds like you had a bad experience with the centralized exchange. Maybe you'd like to get into that a little bit more. Like what do you feel comfortable talking about? But yeah, maybe share your experience there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I really didn't have that bad of an experience. And to be honest, I don't even remember because it was a long time ago. But they took like $30 from me or something like that. Like closed down the account. Oh, you were interacting with a casino. It's illegal or something like that. Whatever it said. So they didn't take a lot of money from me. But actually, what's crazy is a couple of like 2 months ago, my dad wrote me and said, "Yo, I just got this letter in the mail." And I didn't know, obviously I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? I'm looking into it, whatever. But somehow a state treasury got access to the funds like 10 years later. And this $30 that they stole from me is now a couple of $1,000s. And I'm getting it back, apparently. I've already filed the fucking, I've already filed for it. Fucking, yeah. So, I don't really understand how this whole thing worked or what the deal is, but yeah, Coinbase stole my money. And apparently somehow all of a sudden I'm getting it back now, like 10 years later or whatever it is.
That's what, well, in to speak, well, actually in the state that Kenton's in, right? They passed a law. I forget the time frame, but if you have your assets on a centralized exchange, in California for a certain amount of time. I think it's like 5 years or something. I might be wrong, but to double check me. But they can take it. 3 years. If you don't take,
so that's what it is. It's the government taking that, like that's the deal they made with the decentralized exchanges, I guess, is that if you have it for that long, then it's ours now.
How ridiculous.
There's some kind of, I forget what it's called, but this law already exists in TradFi. Like they already do it with like bank accounts and brokerage accounts. I think with brokerage account, like stock brokerage accounts, it might even be 2 years. But basically, if you've never touched your account, like if they think it's like if you haven't touched your account in an X number of years, they assume you're dead, and they can that institution, that brokerage firm, whatever, can take your account, and they can own it, and it becomes their money. And it's insane. Like it's, because like there's this, like in finance, investing, it's like this whole idea of hodling in Bitcoin. I mean, that exists in stocks as well. Like you hear about this little old grandma who bought 2 shares of Coca-Cola 60 years ago, and she just hodled, right? And it became worth $1 million. And had the poor lady, and that's what you should do, right? You should invest and hold for the long term, right? And now these, all these stupid laws are like kind of like forcing people not to, and that they got to be active, they got to do something, they got to trade and whatever. It's criminal. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's criminality. That's exactly what I was gonna say. It's criminality. That's just crime. That's legalized crime. That's legalized theft, right? So out there, people, like I'm telling you, whether you're looking at this live or recording of this live stream, okay, get your damn funds off a centralized exchange. What else do you need to know? Learn how to self-custody. If you don't know how to do it, take your time, go through things. Maybe go check out Adam's website here. Go to learnbitcoinfast.com. Learnbitcoinfast.com. Educate yourself, you guys. I'm telling you, it is not good to leave your money in the custody of someone else. Like for the first time ever, you can actually own the money. You have $2,000 in your checking account? No, you don't. No, you don't. You have permission to use that money up until you don't have permission. And that day is probably coming quite soon. So I hope if you're watching this, please take the time to learn. But anyway, Bitcoin, I don't want to get too sidetracked. Adam, go ahead.
I want to add to that. So can you give some spoiler alerts, Adam, on your book? Do you go through self custody? Do you try and explain and help people how to do it?
Yeah. I told everybody to like that's basically what I talk about is how you could do P2P and yeah, it's just a full explanation about Bitcoin, like where you should start. Start at reading the white paper, understand what it is, because that's the thing too is that they changed the narrative. It's supposed to be P2P electronic cash, and then they're saying it's a store of value. So people think, and then they start saying calling it a crypto asset. It's that's not what it is or what it was supposed to be. But that's the other thing that I was gonna say. That's a problem too. Is that like people don't, um, people like most people get into crypto because they think they can make money with it, and then they lose money, and then they get discouraged. They don't get into crypto because they know that, oh, my family is in some other country and I could help them and send them money in 2 seconds, and I don't even need to go to Western Union or something like that. So it's like people aren't really understanding what it is. They just think that it's a way to make money, and then they usually find out or get into it too late in the cycle and lose money, and then think it's a scam. So they don't really understand it at all, and they're also being mistaught and misled, about what it is. And that's the other problem. And I mean, like, all these guys with big money now, they got more money than all the liquidity combined, so they could just move the markets whichever way they want. The good thing is that there's limited amounts, so if there are more buyers than sellers, then they can't really sell, or they're going to get dumped on. But like, it's yeah, like they're I mean, they basically manipulate it until they make everybody lose their money, and then nobody wants to buy it, and then they just drop it as low as they can by taking more, and then they get more supply control. So it's kind of, honestly, I for me personally, I don't really like to shit on Bitcoin, but I kind of think it might be a lost cause at this point. I don't know. I think that there's I don't even know. I don't know what to think about it,
Well, I
honestly.
think here's the thing, guys.
You
Learn
mentioned
bitcoinfast.com, right? Oh, I'm sorry, Captain. I'll be quick. Learn bitcoinfast.com, guys. Like, maybe some people are like, well, it says free. Why is it free? The reason why we're in this industry, it's not necessarily about making money. It's self-preservation, right? He's trying to teach you the virtues of what makes this industry so great. He wants to bring you on board because if there's more of the population that have joined blockchain, it makes the world itself better. So he's trying to help you out, but there's also like some self-preservation element to this as well. We want the world to be better. We want you to be better, and we're ultimately all fighting the same corrupt system. Go ahead, Kenton. Sorry for interrupting you.
yes, no, no, no. I was just going to ask Adam. You mentioned the narrative changing on Bitcoin. Now it's a crypto asset. Like, and if I assume what you mean is like instead of peer-to-peer money, now it's like a store of value. And I'm curious what your thoughts are like on Bitcoin Cash and all that drama that happened in 2017. Roger Ver and the big blockers were like, we got to stay true to the original vision. We got to keep. It's got to be cash. We got to be able to, transact it and do that, increase the block size. Do you? I'm curious what you thought about it then. What you think about it now? And yeah, I'll leave it with that. Ask.
Yeah, well, I mentioned it before. I was also psyoped into thinking like Bitcoin is the one, but then there's people like McAfee that was saying Monero's the real Bitcoin. There's people like Roger Ver who they were trying to make him look like some sort of scammer with Bitcoin Cash, and I mean, I think Bitcoin Cash was probably shitty anyway. But after time goes on, I realized that they were the good guys, and they were the ones that were trying to do the right thing, while the people who were in charge of everything else were spreading misinformation, calling, like they're pointing their fingers at these guys saying they're the bad guy when they were the bad guys. And so that's what I think about it. I think that they were trying to lead us in the right direction, but they got muffled out, that the bad guys they won again. So that's what I think.
Do you think mentioning maybe Bitcoin's kind of toast? Do you like could you Well, you also mentioned maybe Bitcoin Cash isn't like. Do you think maybe things could, like maybe Bitcoin is toast? Do you think the money capital and the usage could trickle over and translate into Bitcoin Cash, like the original vision of Bitcoin,
Well, I
or do
mean,
you think it might have to be some new
I don't think
token?
Yeah, I think that more like I think something new has to like be done. I don't know. Like to be honest, I don't even know yet. But and don't get me wrong. To for anybody who like that's listening to what I said, like Bitcoin might still go to 1 million a coin. I'm not saying that it's not. I'm just saying that it's not what it was supposed to be, and it's not being led by the correct people anymore. So like like if you're in it for investing and making money, like will it go to 1 million? Yeah, maybe it might, I don't know. But if you're here for like freedom and trying to go on the original path, then that's not what it's here for anymore. And I think that I don't really know, because like I said, USDT, USDC, those are that's the same thing. It's gonna go. The market cap of that shit's gonna be bigger than Bitcoin. So it's like if they're printing all this fake money, the whole system's corrupted. Basically, it's like it's really hard to see or say right now. So that's why I finally I always said like I don't really like the memes and this and that, but I'm starting to realize and starting to decide like what, if you're gonna make money and get influence in the space, then that is basically the way to do it, because that's all anybody cares about. It's just turned into a giant gambling machine at this point.
I
And
think.
if you don't have billions of dollars, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Adam.
No, I was gonna say if you don't have billion, yeah, no, I was gonna, yeah, go ahead.
There's a
Sorry.
delay. I'm so sorry. It's so frustrating. But yeah, no, your point's a good
Yeah.
one about stable coins being something that can be rugged from people, right? Like there's a centralized entity here. And what I was trying to like politely add, because there's a stupid delay and I rudely interrupted you. On THORChain, we have this app layer that's being developed by Ruchira, and we're going to have a Bitcoin backed stablecoin, over collateralized stablecoin that will not be controlled by a centralized entity. But then again, it's still dollars, right? But I wonder if that's just a necessary step that we need to take to on ramp people until we can get to a position where people can have multiple currencies of different blockchains in their wallet, and then they can start using that for transactions. And I think that the stable coin, unfortunately, is like a necessary evil, just because that's the way the system is. But I'm hoping that we can give people an option that is decentralized on the stablecoin front, right? That can't be rugged, because I agree that's like one of the biggest attack vectors that I could foresee really doing a lot of harm to the industry. I'll kick it back to you, Adam.
Yeah, no, I mean, I also I agree with it. I just it's something that the biggest turning point that I was just talking about stablecoins, kind of on a different topic, but like the biggest turning point for me within crypto when I started realizing something was wrong is when I saw them crash Luna and UST. And I always talk about that. Like that was not, I mean, I guess it just came out the other day about who did it, the Jane Street people or whatever. But they put the guy Do Kwon in prison, and he's still in prison for that. So I saw that that whole thing was a marketing plan, and it worked. So it was like, this. So if they did it with that, they could do it with anything too. And now with all like if the same guys that are in control of Bitcoin are in control of the stable coins, and they can freeze your money with the stable coins, then like what's stopping them that when they have $1 trillion in stable coins, if they want to just dump Bitcoin and fucking end that and steal everybody's money and just and do their own thing or something. Like people need to really think about all of these things, because they could be a real reality. I mean, maybe it never happens, who knows? But I would definitely stay tuned and be careful with this type of stuff too.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Hey, that was perfectly said, by the way. And it's hard. It's always that unknown factor. But we're having some actually live engagement with our live stream boys, and something really interesting just happened. And Kenton, this involves you, sir. We're talking about a stable coin, right, on THORChain. I think we might have the symbol for the new stable coin here. I think we might I'm going to go ahead and put it on the screen here. Someone's design. I just want to know what you guys think about this.
I like it.
What do you think, Kenton?
Oh my God.
I got mine right there.
Stop sharing. Let me see Adam.
Oh God, you guys are too
What's the
much.
money I'm
Oh,
gonna
there we
use
go.
to, let's see.
Oh yeah.
Who is that?
I used to have like a fro, and I had somebody tap my. Actually, that was my friend's idea. I stole it from my friend. Shout out to Steve. He's actually the one that
That's your
told me
face,
about
Adam?
Bitcoin too. What's that? Yeah.
Oh man, I love it.
All right,
I love it. Awesome.
Yeah,
This is freaking cool. Hey, we're coming at the top of the adder. Adam, we never really have a time limit for these live streams. We just keep going if we're having fun. But I just want to know, do you have a time limit? In case that is, I can kind of curate, the experience and make sure you get as much time.
No, not necessarily. I mean, I'll stay here. I just gotta get ready, and I'm actually gonna head out. I stayed an extra day just so I could be here because I didn't want to like mess up the times and stuff. So I'm on vacation time, and I just stayed here an extra day so I could be here. So I'm just gonna pack up and leave basically whenever this is done. So it's not really a rush, but yeah.
Thanks,
Dude,
man.
I appreciate that. That's really cool. I love you taking the vacation time.
No, I
hanging out with
appreciate.
us.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's what we
No,
want to
thanks
do.
for
Like,
inviting me.
there is something that I've come to the conclusion on, and there's a really good there's a wallet called Edge Wallet. It is one of the CEOs, Paul, and one thing that he said that really resonated with me, and I love it. He says, all these different teams are all trying to solve the same problem, right? When it comes to freedom, decentralization, but we're all meeting in the middle, right? So you have this ethos as we do, and we're all working together to achieve the same goal, and that's like what I really want to do with these Saturday live streams, is to bring people together, to know that we're not alone, right? That we all have the same concerns of people not putting their assets on a centralized exchange like this. We have to change the world. So I'm so glad that you're here on the show, man. And yeah, that's what it's about. It's time to come together and push this industry to the next level, because we're getting sidetracked with all this nonsense.
Yeah, honestly, I think that you gotta. I don't even know, man. I was thinking about this shit last night, actually. Like, just all of the problems, which I actually had like a really big revelation that I don't know if I really want to talk about, but like something crazy, But like, I think that, I don't know how you even like stop these people because they're so big and they have so much fucking money and they could just do anything. But like, it's like, you can. I think that you have to like do a little research and look at history to understand who's actually doing these things, because like I think that people are focused on the wrong thing, let's say. Like I think that people don't really even realize. I don't know. Like I think that people don't really realize. Like I mean, I think there's a lot of different people or things behind what's going on in the world. Something that was like really weird to me. I did research last night actually, and go look up the majority of all of the U.S. presidents and their bloodlines, and see where they're from. They're all from the same place. It says like Scottish, English blood or something like that. Which was pretty interesting to me. And then I was thinking about this, like, okay, so you know who are or who controls New York? Go figure out who controls New York, because I know basically who controls New York. And then it's like, so there's all these different types of things that people don't even think about, and it's like there's like, everyone just says, oh, the Jews or whatever, and like, yeah, maybe they control like the finances, the banking, that's like the main problem also. But who are the people that are enforcing it? Because that's not the Jews, that's somebody else. Who is that? I know who it is. So it's like fucking, there's all these things that people don't even really think about that are just tied in together. But it's like, how do you stop these people because they have so much money? And like, I'm on a list now for just saying that. So it's like it's pretty crazy stuff. I don't know. I was actually like doing a lot of research yesterday, and I had a really big revelation of what I saw yesterday, which was pretty fucking crazy. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah.
I can add on to that. So that I think this is the turning point in history because, like, I'll talk about America for instance. We had the Revolutionary War, right? And then we got rid of the central bankers in the U.S. Well, what was not, the colonies back then, right? And then a few decades later, we had the War of 1812, which again involved Britain, right? But a lot of people don't know what that was the banks, the banking cartel, which was a banking car back then as it is now, is actually much more powerful now. They were trying to get back into the United States. Well, how do you do that? Well, you foment a war between, Britain, Great Britain at the time, and the still a young United States, and that caused the United States to go into debt. Right? They incentivized the Great Britain's warships to capture sailors and all the ships and all the stuff, and then the great banks came in as the hero and said, hey, we'll give you, you need cash because we were bankrupt at the time. And that's how they got weaseled their way back in. This has been going on for centuries, right? This is the beautiful thing, is that now for the first time, we truly have the ability to separate power from these individuals because they're not going to give it up without a fight. They are not going to do that. There's never been a time in history that's ever happened, and we should not think differently now. And that's why, with Bitcoin, hopefully it's not fully captured. With THORChain, we are trying to build a decentralized solution that's just superior in every way that cannot be captured. And that's why I tell everybody that the decisions we make today are absolutely essential on a game theory level, on the first principle level of our success in the future. Do not think about what THORChain is doing today. Think of how it can survive 10 years from now, because they don't understand the power yet, Adam. They don't understand the power, Kenton, of what we're building here. Not yet, but they will. They will. And when they do, they will come. But we have to be ready for that time. We can do this. I am so sure we can do this, but we have to be super smart today. And that's the future, right? So this is the first time in our speech. Like, it sounds like narcissism, right? It sounds like an over infatuation with ourselves, that we are the generation that can fix this. But it's true, because blockchain tech is a completely new primitive that's never existed in the history of our species. This is a 0 to 1. A 0 to 1 that for the first time ever can really separate finances from the state. And it's our responsibility to bring this home, our responsibility to do that. And that's why I'm so glad here talking to you, Adam, because I know you get that. I know you get that, Kenton. And for those at home, we are going to get this done. But this will go by faster if you listen to Adam and you get your money off a centralized exchange and maybe use THORChain or swaps. I don't know. But I hope you guys do that. So that's what it is. Didn't mean to go on a soapbox there.
Bro, that it's also, like they have like all this convenience now too with like with Amazon and all these things. Yo, you guys hear me, right?
Yeah, I hear you, brother. Go ahead.
I can hear you. But
You hear me?
you.
Oh, okay. Because your videos are frozen. Okay, yeah. All right, yeah. So there's what was I just saying? Yeah, like all you hear all these people like talking about, oh, you need institution for growth and this, and like they don't even understand how many people there are compared to institutions. And like, imagine that every single person tomorrow took their money out of the bank and put it into crypto and just started using crypto. Like, all the shit these bad people would go bankrupt, and and it would end tomorrow. I believe. That's the way that I think about it.
What do you think, Kenton? Should we organize a national withdraw your money from the bank day? Decentralized withdraw your money from the bank day? Call the
That's
bluff?
what needs to be done.
We can do it, boys. We can get this. We'll get this done. We'll get it done.
Yeah. Right? Let's just, it's gonna end at some point, right?
I don't know, man.
Do you remember, Adam? Do you remember back in the day? I'm pretty sure Trace Mayer started this, or maybe not, but was it an annual get your Bitcoin off exchanges day or something like that? It was like,
yeah, I remember people were trying to do something.
And I feel like it got going for like a few years, 5 years or something like that. Proof of Keys Day. Okay, that's what it was. So it was, and do people still do that anymore? It was still, I don't, I feel like it's kind of fall off. Like it's not as popular as it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, you know the
Anyway,
other thing,
that's
the other thing too is sorry, yeah, the other thing too is that people yeah, I think we're lagging. Yeah, I think that the other thing is a lot of the people who had the original thoughts like us are probably gone too. And you could see now they're saying like, oh, original Bitcoiners are capitulating and stuff because they're just not believing anymore, you know? Like, so that's the other thing is that a lot of the people that actually came here before 2017 or came here for like thinking about a freedom aspect of it, they're not even here anymore. They don't, you know, like they made money. They know that they kind of failed in that what it was supposed to be, and now they're just gone. You know, so they don't care anymore.
But do you like do you think they don't care about Bitcoin or they don't care about freedom? Like I can't, I find it hard to believe
No,
that,
I mean they care about
you know,
They
somebody's
care
more
about
motivated
freedom,
by
but
freedom and
I think more they just gave up. You know, like they're getting older, they don't care. You know, like that it doesn't. You know, it's not maybe a lot of them already made money, a lot of money, and they're just like free now anyway because of the money, and they just already gave up or something.
it's like all the protesters, like the 60s and 70s, you know, that, you know, anti-war and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, as they grew up, then they turn into corporate slaves. Like, what happened to them? What happened to this rebellious generation? And just like, you know, you know, they're in the machine, you know, they become part of the man, you know, the system they were originally trying to it's like, I wonder what happened. So I hear you 100%. That's what you're saying. Well, guys, can't lose that spirit no matter what. Right? There's no giving up.
Nah, I'm not.
Yeah.
Me neither. I mean, if the enemy uses propaganda, then there's hope. Because if there was no hope, they would not use propaganda, right? The great thing on our side is we have the truth on our side. It is so easy to, you know, I've had multiple debates with these people, and it's so easy to dismantle them because it's so stupid, their argument they're trying to make. They're trying to defend a history, a record of complete abysmal fiscal responsibility. It's not responsibility, it's been criminality forever. And now we have the ability to give a system that absolutely counters them. These people have no argument that cannot be defeated, and it's really easy to do, guys. And remember, always, guys, you got to counter them every single chance you get. So, and that's what we're doing here every single day. And that's why I really enjoy listening to you, Adam, because you're out there just spitting facts, man. And you're very entertaining. You have can you maybe tell us a little bit about your spaces, what you do? You pretty much have, you seem like you have space every day, right?
Yeah, okay. So, you know, I've been on and off doing spaces for like the last like 3 years or something like that, you know, and basically what happened was I started up doing the spaces again recently, and somebody came into the space and said, yo, people have there's a fight going on. Everybody's running the real Bitcoin. They're running the Bitcoin Tonight space. And I said, oh, let me look. So one of the Bitcoin Tonight spaces is a ETH maxi LARPing as a Bitcoiner to try to get the engagement. The other Bitcoin Tonight spaces are a bunch of clowns from 2022 that bought the top in 2022, and now they're trying to teach people about centralized exchanges and ETFs. So I was like, you know what? I should run the real Bitcoin Tonight space, the one who actually bought fucking Bitcoin, not an ETF, and teach people about this. So, you know, so I started doing it, and I tried to do one like 2 days ago, and X completely rugged me. Then I tried to do a live. It wouldn't even let me go up live. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take this break for the next 2-3 days while I'm on this vacation. And then when I get back to my house, I'm going to just start doing it again every single day. So that's at 6 p.m. Eastern every day. And it will be starting back up again on Monday or Tuesday, depending on when I get back. I think Monday should be fine. But we'll see what happens. But Monday or Tuesday, 6 p.m. every day.
And his handle,
Eastern.
you guys, is
Dude, that's why we
Adam
switched to
Bitcoin B2P1. Sorry, at Adam Bitcoin P2P1. Go ahead, Kenton.
I was just gonna say that's why we switched to doing these live streams in Riverside, because we just kept getting rugged on Twitter Spaces, and also too, I think Twitter deletes them after 30 days. So if you don't download them, record the content, then it's gone. They're gone forever. So like, we want to record our stuff, get on YouTube, and so people can go back and listen, and so it's frustrating. Those spaces, man. Elon's got to figure that out. He can get a rocket to the moon or Mars, but he can't get Twitter Spaces. But I love it, man. I love you're hijacking it. The real Bitcoin tonight. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
man. Awesome.
well, the
Adam,
real one.
So
go ahead.
Pedro.
Well, I'm wondering, Adam, what else would you like to say? Is there anything we feel like we've missed in this live stream? But I want to make sure that people get to know about you maximally. I mentioned your X handle one more time, you guys, at Adam Bitcoin P2P1, at Adam Bitcoin P2P1. Give him a follow, you guys. This is a warrior for our space. Give him the support. We all have to come together. We have to work together. We're all going to push this industry our own way. But Adam, I want to kick it to you. Is there anything else that, we feel like we've missed? You want something else you're working on? The floor is yours, good sir.
Sure. Yeah. So I want to actually, I like being transparent to people, and I see a lot of people fudding me at the moment because I'm, trying to teach people the right way. And I want to really explain a couple of things real quick. So first off, I got all these people that keep fudding me, but they all blocked me. So, like, why would you FUD me and block me and not let me have my voice too? I'm not blocking you. I'm not saying anything. So that's the one thing that I've realized that all these bad guys do is they censor you, and then they try to talk shit about you, and you have no recourse. You can't say anything back because they block you. So now recently what I've been getting into, what I realized, I talked about it a lot, is that I'm trying to learn these memes. Okay. So there's the meme coins are like a game. Okay. So you have to, the first one is the new pairs. The second part, maybe you have to hit 10,000 market cap. Then you have to hit deck screener. Like there's all these little things and levels that you have to do. And in order to make it right, you can't just launch a meme coin and think it's going to go to the moon. It's never going to work. So, so people will say, oh, yeah, you're a rugger. Oh, you're doing this or doing that. But there are steps that you have to take to learn these things and do it right. And, and I started doing it because I was doing it on Radium. I wanted to learn liquidity because I didn't know anything about liquidity. And I taught myself about the liquidity. But I also taught myself that launching on Radium causes a lot of problems because on all these scanners and stuff, it's not showing correctly. So I just wanted to say that, I think that my recommendation to anybody, don't buy meme coins because unless you it's just a form to make money for people. But, you have to, if you want to buy meme coins, you have to know who's making it and you have to get in early or else you're probably going to lose, so it's this is for me personally. Actually, you know what? I'm actually building a social media platform built on Solana. And, I'm my goal is to end pump fund and actually turn things into long-term investments again. But you have to, before that happens, you have to be able to uh learn how to do these memes correctly because there is a strategy to it and it's not as easy as people think. And at this moment, the meme, the way to launch a meme is to do a narrative. Like you see, they launched the penguin coin. The government was bull posting the penguin coin on every single account that they have it went to what, like 100 million or something. And now go look at it. What is it? Like probably like a million, probably less. I don't even know. I didn't follow it. I don't buy it. But, all of these coins, they're all rugs and they're all based on narrative. So, if you're not getting, like, just like what you said, you bought the coin for 300, you turned it to 500, you got out, you made money, you moved on. That's what it is. So any person that's trying to tell you like, oh, I'm building this, like, look at Fartcoin. Fartcoin's on Coinbase. It went to like almost $3. Now it's at like 20 cents. So it's the same thing. And just like Bitcoin took what, 10, 15 years, whatever it is, I don't know, to go to 100,000. It sat there for 5 years at the same price. It didn't do anything. So, it's like all of these things are the same, just on a different scale. And like, it's like, okay, yeah, like one thing has smart contracts, one thing is more decentralized, like this and that. But it's like, at the same time, I'm just feeling like if you can basically use any coin for the same thing, but also you definitely have to think of the risks as well, like what you're like. I remember you're saying or the THORChain account was, Thor was saying, what they were saying about fuck, now I'm like, now I lost my train of thought. Like, okay, what they're saying about what they're saying about wormhole, okay, is like, like you're gonna use Thor to swap, but people are using wormhole to swap. And if you're using or not swap, to bridge, if you're using wormhole to bridge, like that's another real risk that can be like a hack, or so like everything in crypto is a risk. But I think that like a lot of the stuff that you see is just noise, because I did the same thing. I saw, I mean, yes, there are malicious people that are just doing rugs and doing scams, and you have to understand who are the malicious ones and who aren't the malicious ones. Like you have to, basically, it's like, a lot of, I mean, you could just, all you have to do really is buy Bitcoin and hold, hopefully. And that's really all you have to do, I guess. But I don't know, like there's just a lot of noise and a lot of bad influence. And these people will, like, you see these guys who were stealing everybody's money last cycle now talking about, oh, this guy's a rugger, oh, that guy, calling out all these people because they're trying to gain influence and trust again by all these new guys who have no fucking clue. And they see 1,000 people in their Twitter space and think, oh, these guys are trusted. But they're not, they're just getting led into a death trap, and they don't even know what they're getting led into because of the misinformation, propaganda, basically. And then they're going to say, oh, this guy is a rugger, oh, this guy's the bad guy, but they have you blocked so you can't even respond to it. So that's check my account. I'm not blocking nobody. Anybody could come to my space. All the people that are calling me a rugger, a scammer, or this or that, come to my space and let's debate it. I have no fucking problem with that. You're more than welcome to do it. But they won't do it because they're going to block me, and they're going to talk on their pages about this. So that's the difference. You should know the people who are blocking and censoring, or the people who are openly inviting the people up on their stages. Come right up. Let's talk. No problem.
Kenton, do you have something? I want to, because of delay, I want to make sure I ask before I start speaking.
I was going to change the subject a little bit. So if you wanted to ask or say,
sure. Well, I think one thing what reminds me of you're saying, Adam, is the truth is, I forget exactly how the phrases goes, but like if the truth is only dangerous is when they try to cut out a man's tongue, right? And I'm on. I was pretty busy in politics the years prior, and I'm blocked by so many people. Yeah, I mean, and it sucks on the algorithm too. Is when they block you, it actually hurts your reach. If you have popular profiles that block you, it is weaponized, which is ridiculous. That's a huge game theory problem that X has. But yeah, I totally know where you're coming from, and I agree 100%. But go ahead, Kent. I'm gonna kick it to you.
There was a time there, right? Every time I open up my Twitter and scroll through my feed, my day wasn't complete until I saw a post from Patriot Sounds replying to some politician. You're a treasonous. You're a traitor. You should be ashamed of yourself. Just resign now. And just And so I imagine these are all the people that blocked you. But dude, I swear, sometimes like a daily basis, I'd see your posts is great. Uh,
Yeah, I'm hated. I'm very much
I
hated,
wanted to
my
ask,
friend.
wanted to ask Adam. So like, I hear you, man. I love that you're on the right side of history, and so I'm curious. Then, how like when did you first find THORChain, hear about it, and I assume you hear you're talking to us. You speak. You're positive with THORChain, so I assume you see that we're on the right side of history. Yeah, I'm just curious if you can kind of like walk us down that journey, and when you first found us, how, and maybe what you like about what we're doing.
When did you guys come out? Like 2016, 2015, or something like that?
2021
2016.
was the beginning of ChaosNet, which was early mainnet, super,
Well,
but it
Oh
was
wow.
like we
Okay,
were
yeah. So then
super
that makes
young.
sense then.
the,
Yeah, no, that makes sense because
Well, the
fucking
token started in 2019, but the exchange didn't go live till 2021. So sorry.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, like I said, I got into crypto in like 2014, 2015, and I was like a Bitcoin maxi for a very, very long time. Only Bitcoin. I believed in all the propaganda that they were talking about. And then I guess like in 2017 was utility coins, right? I think. So what So like yeah, so I think like around from like 2014 to like 2017. No, I don't know. I don't really remember, to be honest, everything. Like I feel like I might have been like a Bitcoin maxi up until like 2021 or something like that. And that's when I started to change my thoughts about it, and I remember seeing no, you know what? 20 Yeah, it was, I guess, around there. Like maybe like around like 2020 or something. I started, or no, it was even before that because I got Ethereum when it was like $100 or something like that. And I got like basically, I think like I first, like I got like BNB when it was like $20, Ethereum when it was like $100, and that's like when I started to change my thoughts. But I remember I had BNB and I bought like 10 of them for like $200, and I lost the wallet. I didn't even like, because I was like, oh, this is a shit coin, it's not even gonna do anything, like I didn't really, I still was like more of a Bitcoin maxi. But then I remember that THORChain was talking about decentralized swaps using Monero, this and that, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool, and then I got into Rune, and that was like one of like the first, like besides like BNB, Monero, Ethereum, like I was like Rune. And it was like one of the first things that I started like looking at and paying attention to, because I didn't like centralized exchanges. So I was like looking at the decentralized swaps that you guys were doing, and that's really what brought me there. So whenever you guys started, because I remember there was always a talk about the like atomic swaps and all this shit, and that's really what got me into it.
Cool. So then I mean, you've been a part of the community then for a few years now, at least.
Yeah, since
That's
it's
great, man.
since like the
Awesome.
beginning, since it started, basically is
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I found out about it. That
Awesome.
was where I was reading
Yeah.
about it. Yeah.
Great. Glad you're still here, man. The last year has been tough for us. Um, but we persist. We'll keep going. And I feel
Bro, it's tough for everybody,
pretty
bro. The
good
last
about the
fucking
organization.
2-3 years for me has been fucking rough. It's like, you have to, the thing is, it's like, dude, like I said, like I always thought like the memes are like scams and shit, but like you saw Litecoin, they tried to change Litecoin to a meme coin. Like you have to adapt right now or you're gonna be left behind. Like as much as it sucks, like the market is fucking changed now, and there's no other way around it. Like, I just feel like it's we have to adapt and learn the new way. And then when we get the influence, then we create our own propaganda and we bring it back to the old way. That's it. Like that's the only way forward. There's no other way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'll go now. I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use the raise the hand feature because there's this delay between us, so we can signal to each other because I don't want to interrupt anybody. But what you just said right there, Adam, really resonates with me. And you mentioned Bitcoin Maxi, right? Bitcoin Maxi. And I think I just want to say, like, if there is a Bitcoin Maxi that watches and you're still a Bitcoin Maxi, then THORChain's perfect for you, right? Like, what do you want to do with your Bitcoin? We have our app layer where, your keys are going to be tied to the assets. Not soon, you can currently take a loan the same way that works with Aave design, except it's cross-chain, right? We say omni-chain, right? So if you're a Bitcoin Maxi out there, we are giving utility to your layer one. So that's why you should be a THORChain. You don't have to own Rune. You don't have to do anything. But we want to provide the service. We want to level Bitcoin up to the asset that you've always wanted it to be, right? That's what we're trying to do here. And Adam, something you said earlier before, we're talking about ethos, right? Like you mentioned, like, who are the bad guys? Like sometimes bad guys use, infrastructure, but like, for example, last year we had, I don't know if you remember the Bybit exploit. It was $1.5 billion, right? And Bybit exploit happened, and they ended up going through THORChain. And this caused a big rigmarole in the community, right? It was a huge test of our ethos, and we had this eternal civil war. And thankfully, our ethos side won handedly after just like a day or so, and we didn't freeze swaps, right? But a lot of people get confused. It's like, well, don't you want to stop bad guys? Like, first off, guys, we hate bad actors. We don't like criminals. We don't like people stealing funds or anything like that. But you have to define what is a bad actor, what is a bad guy, right? If you're going to apply the logic of stolen funds, of mismanagement with funds, then, speaking for myself, you have to look at the United States government as criminal too. That's my opinion, because, I've seen it in real life, right? I've been involved in this process. I've seen behind the curtain. Who do you deny? If we're going to assign criminality, then you wouldn't have to, we lost Adam there. That's unfortunate. But you have to basically, deny the most powerful organizations in governments in the world, right? That's what you'd have to do if you're going to hold that standard. So you have to have neutral, permissionless infrastructure. That's the way it's got to be. Adam did drop. I'm going to try and get him back. But Kenton, man, I really want to show you something. And I'm going to bring it up here. Man, you are beautiful today, Kenton. Absolutely beautiful. And people are really just
another Photoshop for me.
Oh, buddy. Let's bring it up here. Oh, buddy. Do you see that, Kenton? Oh my gosh. Look at that. Master and Commander.
I'm gonna use my Kenton dollars to go buy a ship. I think that's what somebody in the chat. What did he say exactly? I was gonna. He looks at. Some guy said I look like I'm ready to buy something. What did he say?
Oh, buddy.
You're at the top.
Oh man,
I can't go up. Oh, here we go.
I've been dying, man. I have been dying, dude. 100%. Let me see if I can get. I'm gonna reach out to Adam.
Kent looks like Kent is about to buy a ship and go start wars. There you go. That's pretty good Photoshop. I love it. Me and some of my friends, some guys I used to work with, we would do that all the time. We would take our headshots and like way worse than what Buddy just showed. That's impressive. We'd always do these janky, putting our heads on people and sitting it around. It was tons of fun.
Yeah.
Should we maybe start wrapping it up when he comes back?
Yeah, I'm gonna give him. Yeah, we could do that. I'm gonna give him because I know he has to go. I messaged him. We'll give him a few minutes to return. Maybe he dropped. Maybe he's having some internet issues. Because I do want to see if we can give him an outro. But we could just end it here. But it's been really interesting conversation for sure. But how long have you been in California, man?
I feel it, man. 36 hours now. I got here Thursday evening, and I'm leaving this evening. So I'm just here for 48 hours basically. And I'm going to Salt Lake City for a week. And
okay. So you're leaving today. You're leaving 12 hours?
Yeah.
Or something. Okay.
Less than flying to Salt Lake this evening.
I was thinking about driving out there, but because that's not too far away from me. But I'll let you go. We'll let you go. We'll see you in Las Vegas in 2 months.
To San Diego?
Yeah, I don't live that far away.
Yeah, Vegas, man. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, let's meet up in Vegas.
I know.
I'm pretty. I jam-packed this trip on everything I'm doing. So yeah, I'm a permanent resident of Mexico now. So I had to go. It was part of the reason for my trip. I had to go get my residence, convert my temporary into permanent residence. And so on Thursday morning, before I came to San Diego, I was actually in Guadalajara with Apex, and went golfing with him. So that was great. And I had dinner with him the night before. It was great to meet him in person and hang out. And he's not coming to Vegas, so we won't get to have cigars with him. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a cool guy, though, isn't he? Alex is fucking cool. Alex.
Yeah. Very nice guy. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Alex is, I think he's got some great ideas for what THORChain should do, and so yeah, he's a THORChat. He wants THORChain to succeed, so it's great.
Yeah.
So hopefully see more from him and some input, some more help. Yeah. So.
Well, yeah, I love him to death, man. Absolutely love him to death. While you're here, Kenton, maybe you want to talk about, we are planning a meetup in Las Vegas. We don't have an exact venue or day or time yet, but I did send you a link to an RSVP software. So maybe we'll kick it to the audience if they have any ideas or whatever.
Yeah, I saw your link. Somebody else told me about Evite.
Okay.
So maybe I'll try and see if I can try and do it this weekend. And maybe I'll try. Maybe I can actually try and do it this afternoon. But yeah, we kind of need to get. I need to get a head count. I have no idea how many people. Right. And the last thing I want to do is turn people away at the door. So yeah, I'll try and get this thing going where we can kind of get some people to RSVP. There we go, Adam.
Yeah, my bad. My phone was
back,
freezing, and then it kicked me off, and I wouldn't connect. But I'm back.
Yeah, no worries, brother. No worries, brother. Well,
good.
The internet has been a little shoddy today with Riverside itself. It's usually not this delayed. It's kind of unusual. I'm wondering if the government's trying to stop you from spreading the word like they do on X, man. I think you've got some haters, and they're trying to rug you, bro, from spreading the good word. So
I know. Maybe is it a conspiracy or not? I don't know.
The conspiracy theorists are like 100 and 0 at this point, man. Like, I think that's the winning team. You know what I mean? Oh man. Well, we were talking because we are having connectivity issues. Maybe this is a good time that we can start wrapping. It's been an hour and a half. And real quick, Adam, I forgot to tell you at the beginning of the show. I'm so sorry about this. Make sure to stay with us. Don't log off right away because it's uploading on your side. And so, then it's on the very top. It's fully uploaded and then we're good to go. But Adam, did you have anything else that you wanted to talk about or mention at all?
I mean, I think we went over a lot pretty good. I just really want people to understand that, like, there's a lot of misinformation out there in crypto, whether it's on purpose or not. Yeah, I think that at this point now it's been we're in 2026. So it's been 10 years of misinformation that everybody is just taught so incorrectly. They don't even know what they're saying. So, so I don't even think that at this point, like I was joking, I was in this space and I'm calling these guys feds, I don't think they're feds. I just think they're idiots. They just don't, they're just taught the wrong way. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And now they're spreading all this information to everybody, and it's like, and that's the problem, so we have to get more real voices, more real people to be louder, like who's the loudest people on Twitter? These guys acting like they're rich, sharing fake, like wins and stuff, or, it's just, everything's fake and everything's misinformation now. And and like when I got into crypto, you read the white paper, you read Bitcoin Talk, there was nothing else to even learn from. So everything was right because it was the people at the beginning. Now, if you search something, it's just propaganda or whatever, So I would just say that, to people, especially if you're new, you know, do your research, do a lot of research, and research it again, and make sure that these people that you're, hey, when did you come into crypto? Oh, like, where did you learn about crypto? Like people don't even understand, like these big news things, like, I'm not even like start naming names and shit, but I know exactly who they are. You go into their chats and it's bots, mainly bots saying all this shit. They're like, oh, the price is going up today, set your longs, and then they just dump the shit out of it the next day. So just, you think that these guys that have millions and millions of followers are reputable, but they are machines built to take your money. And like, and the last thing, it's not about the money. If it was about the money, then you'd be seeing Lambos on my page and this and that. I mean, yeah, like, I show some things just because that's all people care about, but like, it's not about the money, it's about freedom. And that's what you should be focused on, instead of just trying, like these people just are asking their mommies for one Solana so they can turn it into $1 million, and it's never gonna fucking happen. That dream is a lie. So, like, I mean, maybe it'll happen if you have the right contacts, you're on the right team, and this and that. Like, I'm sure that Thor, that you guys have done it before. You guys have, like everybody's done it before that knows what they're doing, but it's not like, oh, you're just aping some meme coin all day and you're gonna turn into a millionaire. It's never gonna fucking happen. Maybe one of you guys that are listening to it might happen out of the millions that are listening, maybe one. But like, this is more about freedom than just, aping some coin and getting rich. And that's what you guys should understand, because if we got into the freedom aspect, then we could all ape a coin and get rich, So it's like, that's how it used to be. But now it's changed. So I don't know. I guess that's really all I have to say.
Well said. Well said. Kenton, did you have something before we wrap it up? That was a good outro.
No, it's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
This has been a friggin' fantastic live stream, you guys. Adam Bitcoin in the house. Dude, Adam, thank you so very much. And I want to remind the audience, if you want to follow Adam Bitcoin, it's at Adam Bitcoin P2P1. One more time, at Adam Bitcoin P2P1, all one word. Also, learnbitcoinfast.com, all one word. So easy to remember, you guys. Remember, you guys, this is about the ethos. We're here. We have to change the world. It's fun to make money. Everyone loves making money. I love making money, right? But this is self-preservation, right? This is what we're trying to do. We have to bring this industry back to its roots, and that means freedom. We have the one chance to change the world, and that's exactly what we're going to do, you guys. Adam Bitcoin in the house, bro. Thank you so very much for joining us today on this show.
Thanks to
You've
you.
been an awesome guest. And guys, please follow him. This has been so much fun. Real quick, guys, we're on the outro here. Just to remind you, they're still hiring. Chad's still hiring. If you're a Go developer and you'd like to work on THORChain, please reach to at Chad Barraford on X. If you would like to become a node operator on THORChain, you need some help, please reach to at Runtard on X. He can help you get set up and find bond providers. And for THORChain data and insights, please follow at Ray Analytics on X. He does written recaps of these spaces too. Super cool guy. Definitely check him out if you need to have these condensed into bullet points. He's an excellent source. And always remember, guys, the views expressed solely are those of the hosts and guests. Any action taken on this information is at your own risk. Past performance is not indicative of future results. And with that being said, we're going to wrap the show. So much fun. Thank you again, Adam. This has been freaking awesome, man. And
Thanks
we'll catch you guys on the next one, everyone. Take care.
See you.